of norms. Friends, this is not a coup. I am presiding over this meeting, delegated by our Hope Creator President, who is indisposed. So rest assured that everything is in order. Well, I would like to invite you, our fellow Rotarians, Rotaractors, and guests on call to submit any Rotary information that you may have to the fraternity. You can do so by raising your hand or shooting the Chichiga away. Over to you, Rotarians. HCP Dorothy.
Thank you so much. Friends, this is to inform and remind you that the Rotary Club of Kampala Maisha henceforth will be meeting 2 times online the first 2 weeks of the month and 2 times physically at Rosaho Bistro for the last 2 weeks of the month. Therefore, we kindly welcome you next week to fellowship with us Wednesday, 7 to 8 a.m., Rosaho Bistro, as we induct our Rotarians. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you very much for that Rotary information, our dear Bob. PO, your hand is up. Please submit.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Good morning, fellow Rotarians, Rotaractors, and friends of Rotary. Mine is to re-echo and announce the five-a-side, which is upon us this weekend, 2 days from today, July the 22nd, at Philip Omondi Stadium, also known as the KCCA grounds in Lugogo, starting from 8 in the morning. This is a sporting event, sporting Rotary family event that will see the drawn teams face off in the groups. Please come along with your families. For those who are not playing, and let's support the teams as they play. As a forewarning to all Rotarians and clubs that are participating, it has been brought to our attention that the unsavory acts that are being done across certain clubs, we are verifying the authenticity of club members and players. Do not attempt to dupe the system because you will be disqualified and forfeit your play in the tournament. Yes, Mr. President?
President, you're muted. Kindly unmute. Amazing President,
can you be taking your work as the president comes back?
Maybe.
Sorry, I was just checking if our guest speaker is on call. Because of the time differences, sometimes we can have those hiccups. He's joining us, so all is well. Thank you very much, Pure, for that amazing invitation as we come together and bond in the Rotary 5-a-side. Our very own Farida from the Rotary Club of Kampala, Impala, please talk to us.
Thank you so much, President. I would like to invite you to our fellowship this evening at Kabira, 6 p.m. We'll be talking about alternative care interventions for children in the country. And we are always glad to have visitors. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will surely be joining you as you fellowship. Dr. Kalunji, your hand is up. Please talk to us. Dr. and Dr. Kalunji.
Thank you very much, President, and good morning.
Good morning.
I'm making this announcement on behalf of the Rotaract Club of Lake Victoria. They're organizing a Rotaract Beach Soccer fundraiser, and I believe most of us received an email yesterday. It will be on the 29th of July at Coco Beach in Entebbe, and they are calling upon Rotary clubs to pay only 150,000 shillings, even if you're not going to send in teams. But if you're going to send in teams, you can also support by buying tickets. Each ticket goes for 15,000 shillings. So this fundraiser is meant to support St. Andrew's Senior Secondary School in Wabulungu. I'm going to share more details in the chat on who can be contacted. Thank you, President.
Thank you, Dr. Kalunji, for that invitation. Rotarian Duncan Klein, your hand is up. Please talk to us.
Yes, my name is Rotarian Duncan Klein. Good morning, Mr. President and all other Rotarians. I wish to inform you that Rotary Club of Chanja Metro shifted its meetings from Kentimo University to Lishi Hotel every Sunday from 5 to 6. Please feel free to come and fellowship with us. I'm the membership director for RC Chanja Metro. Thank you and have a good morning.
Morning. Thank you very much for that update. We'll be glad to join you. Rotarian Angela from RC Mola, kindly talk to us.
Good morning, Mr. President and all the guests and Rotarians. I'm Angela Akurut from Rotary Club of Ngora, informing all of you that Rotary Club of Ngora is a new club that is scheduled its charter on the 12th of August. So I'm kindly inviting all of you to come and join us on that day. It will only be at a cost of 50,000. You're most welcome to Ngora.
Hello, everyone. Hello. This is Hussam Abdab. Can you hear me?
Dr. Hussam, I can hear you.
Yes.
You will be introduced in due course. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. And I'm very sorry for the delay because there is a difference time between Egypt and Uganda, which is make me considering that the session will be starting after 1 hour. So I'm so sorry for that.
That's well. It's really appreciated. Thank you for joining us. Can we get one piece of water information, and then we will straight away get into our meeting. We invite our guest speaker. Rotarian Grassi?
I'm ready to start. Once you need me to start, just let me know, please.
Yes, thank you, Doctor.
Yeah.
All right, let's get one last piece of information. I can see Rotarian Grassi from Mukono. Your hand is up.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. My name is Gracie from RC Mukono Central. This Sunday, we're having an outreach program at the Health Center of Nachisunga. It is in Seta Nazigo, Nachisunga. We are reaching out to the mothers and the babies. So we are going to the maternity ward. If any of you has anything to donate, maybe the used clothes, bed sheets, and anything, or you want to take part of it, please feel welcome. We'll be leaving Mukono Central Grounds, that is Star Gardens, in the morning at around 8 o'clock, or you can feel free to contact any member to drop anything. You're always welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll be glad to join you. I encourage all Rotarians to participate in that noble cause. Well, I take the pleasure to invite CMP Frederick, who will introduce our guest speaker. Our guest speaker is already with us. Over to you, CMP Frederick.
Thank you very much, President. Fellow Rotarians, Retractors, and yes, and all friends of Rotary this morning. It is my singular honor and privilege to introduce to you a highly seasoned and accomplished professional in the field of computer science and artificial intelligence. Our guest speaker this morning holds a PhD in computer science with a specialty in machine learning and data analysis. Our guest speaker this morning has served on various cutting-edge projects in the area of artificial intelligence technology. He has vast research in developing advanced algorithms and models to solve complex problems in various areas such as natural language processing, computer vision, and predictive analytics. He has published several papers, presented in various prestigious conferences and journals, to mention but a few. Our guest speaker this morning is a leader that has held leadership positions in several leading technology companies, under whose leadership that the companies have successfully managed and succeeded in implementation of artificial intelligence solutions. He is a strategic and visionary and great communicator to support organizations achieve their objectives. Fellow Rotarians, Retractors, and guests, and all friends of Rotary this morning, our guest speaker is very and deeply passionate about promoting the adoption of artificial intelligence and leveraging its potential to create positive impact in various spaces. He is a person with a proven track record in the spaces of innovation, expertise, and leadership. Our guest speaker this morning continues to make significant strides in the space of artificial intelligence, shaping the future of technology and its groundbreaking research and impactful applications. Fellow Rotarians, again, Retractors, and all guests with all friends of Rotary this morning, join me in welcoming Dr. Hassan to speak to us about youth, everyday youth, productivity, and well-being, all powered by artificial intelligence. Dr. Hassan, you are very welcome, and over to you.
Thank you so much for the introduction, and I hope that today we can share each other our thoughts and how the generative AI can help each other in the daily activities actually. So in the journey today, we will speak about what is the generative AI in general, and also how the ChatGPT is working to help everyone to achieve much better every day in our tasks. I'm going to share my screen and will present few slides that can help us to go through the a lot of information actually in a very organized way. So please let me know once you can see my screen.
For now, we can see you.
Okay, you can see me, and I'm going to share also my screen. Can you see my screen right now?
Not yet. Yes, you can see it now.
Okay, great.
We can see it now, yeah.
And now I'm sharing the presentation. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, great. So actually, we are speaking about very important topic right now, because each one is hearing about the generative AI. Each one is hearing about that ChatGPT. So I believe that whatever your position, if you are a manager in a bank, if you are a CEO in a fintech company, or even if you are a user or a customer using fintech or digital financial solutions, applications, you have to be aware about the artificial intelligence, either to use it to facilitate your work, or even to understand what is the implication if you are a customer using the GPT during your daily journey. First of all, I would like to thank you all for your attendance. My name is Hussam Abu Dahab, and it's my honor actually to be here with you, because I'm considering that Africa is my fintech school, and I worked across 20 countries in Africa, starting from actually about 8 years ago. I worked in Nigeria, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Ghana, and other countries worked in the fintech. So I know very well how the market is moving, and how it is moving very fast actually in the fintech era. So this is my QR. Whenever you want to discuss more about the fintech era, you can reach me right now on this. Usually, I would like to start with understanding the core concept of the topic we are speaking about. We all are bankers or fintechers, but not all of us are technical enough to understand what is the artificial intelligence is. So I'm starting with defining what is the artificial intelligence. As you all know, that the artificial intelligence is the ability of the computers to simulate how the human are trying to think. The artificial intelligence is about how to learn more, how to learn from data, from situations. Like humans, we are building our experience while we are working, so the artificial intelligence also is the same like human, try to understand how to take the decisions and perform the tasks without being explicitly programmed. And this is the difference, or the main difference, between the traditional programming concepts and the artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence actually is used in many applications, such as the text recognition, speech recognitions, and also build upon the base of the natural language processing and trying to forecast what is the next word could be, and build upon a huge data collected from several sources. That's why whenever we are dealing with artificial intelligence, we can find a huge of informations, and we will go through this journey actually by the end of this session, experiencing the artificial intelligence on a live practicing. The generative AI is a category of the artificial intelligence. That's why it was very important to understand the artificial intelligence before going into the generative. But the generative, by definition, is how to generate something from the data I have. If I have a lot of pieces of information, how I can generate information that can help me as a human from this huge data. The bad news, sometimes we can hear that the generative AI is not accurate, and this is actually correct, because we are considering the quality of the output of the generative AI as one of the challenges which we will present later on these slides. But comparing with the huge benefits we are gaining from the generative AI, we can consider that the quality is one of the challenges that we can bypass it, or we can absorb, considering or comparing with the huge benefits we are gaining from the generative AI. The generative AI is applied in a lot of industries, and when we are speaking about the banking, we can confirm that the generative AI is used in the banking sector, in the fintech, in a different use cases, especially the fraud prevention and the wealth management and the other use cases we are going to present right now. But again, as the name suggests, generative is to generate something from the data, generate images, music, speech, code. Even the technical guys are enjoying the generative AI by generating their code, which is written to provide functionality or to facilitate task or activity happening in the applications. And this is actually one of the benefits that we can count it on the productivity side. That I'm a technical guy, so I was spending a lot of time in writing lines of code to write algorithm or to execute function, for example. But the generative AI right now can help me to generate bulk of code that will be executed. So you as a manager or as a decision maker, you have to understand what are the benefits that you can gain from the generative AI, so you can plug in the generative AI inside the activities you are managing every day. It is a slogan or a very important statement that we have to consider it while we are speaking about the generative AI, which is the machine learning by definition is a training model. A training model built on the data. So the model will be much more better whenever you are much training your model on the data. Wherever you are feeding your system with a lot of data, you are expecting to have much better results from the models you are building. From the session title, we are going to speak about the ChatGPT. And I think during the very short introduction, we go through the artificial intelligence, which is part of it, or shape of the application of the artificial intelligence is the generative intelligence. And right now we are speaking about tool or part of the implementation of the generative AI. The ChatGPT is a conversational artificial intelligence model. So the ChatGPT is something to generate output from the data. It is generative, pre-trained, transform, and this is the abbreviation of the 3 letters GPT. So it is a chat model based on the generative pre-trained transformation architecture. And this is the core idea of the ChatGPT, which is developed by OpenAI in 2021. For sure, it has been starting long time before 2021, but it went live in 2021. ChatGPT is designed to generate responses as we define the generation or the generative AI. It is generating responses based on what you are feeding from the data. It will analyze and using its algorithms to generate the response for you, what is the response you need. Either it is a text or a voice or even an image that you can generate by the ChatGPT. As you may know that, for example, the images can be built using the artificial intelligence in this model by the best expectation of the pixel inside the pictures, so it can reach the highest quality of the generated picture. Again, the model has been trained on a large data, but it is coming from the internet. So sometimes it could be advantage and sometimes could be disadvantage because it is built on around 300 billion words collected from the internet. So when we are speaking about the ChatGPT as a general model, you have to consider that the ChatGPT is built upon collecting a lot of information from the internet, and we can relate this to the quality, because as long as the quality of the collected data from the internet is high, you can expect that the ChatGPT quality or output quality is relevant to the collected data. Let's go to the industry we are speaking about, which is the banking. This is our home and our business, actually. According to McKinsey, we are just dropping some numbers to make the session more sexy about the numbers could be potentially behind the generative AI. As per McKinsey, the revenue in the fintech industry coming from the generative AI, it is about 2.8 up to 4.7% is coming from the generative AI. So, sorry? So each one of us, you can look at the current revenue numbers at your organization, and you can imagine that about 3 or 4% of your revenue is coming from the generative AI. So if you are not using or not applying any of the generative AI, so you have to rethink about your business model. The value calculated is between $200 billion up to $340 billion annually. So we are speaking about actually not just a fantastic tool that facilitates our work, but also we are speaking about huge number of revenue and a huge number of investment is happening right now in the generative AI. The global generative AI market valued with $8 billion and estimated the compound annual growth rate is 34% in 2030. It is actually something huge. I didn't see something like this before, but you can consider that in 2030 as part of the huge renovation of everything in the world, especially in the technology, you can consider that the generative AI is a cornerstone in all industries because of the numbers we are seeing right now. More than 85 million jobs expected to go unfilled by this time. And this is actually a repeated question during all my events or webinars. People are caring about their jobs. Are we going to lose our jobs because of the replacement by the artificial intelligence? Shall I take care of my career path while I'm thinking about the artificial intelligence in general? And the answer, yes, you have to take care about your career path while the world is changing around all of us, because a lot of jobs will appear and a lot of jobs actually will disappear. All the jobs that is subject to be automated or to be managed by any tool or application of the generative AI, it could be disappearing in the future, while the supporting jobs that can help the generative AI to be much more bigger and bigger, it will be increased in the future. Also, 167 generative AI fintech globally have raised 17.2 billion up to date. So we're speaking about big numbers. So how the generative AI can improve our productivity? When we are discussing something like this, we have to consider actually two stacks of tasks. If I'm a manager, I have to consider the generative AI, if I can use it or not, based on a couple of criteria. There is a lot of parameters I have to consider, but in general, you can consider two stacks of tasks that either be automated or not automated. The tasks in the financial services are very sensitive. We all agree about that, that the financial services fault tolerance is very small. So you can automate the tasks or the activities that the fault tolerance is a little higher. When you have low risk in these tasks, you can directly automate it. A lot of tasks is happening, but with the same pattern. So there is no big change. The mistakes in these tasks are not huge, and the impact is not huge, because sometimes the mistakes in the financial services could charge you hundreds of dollars. So you have to take care of this. So this category of tasks you can usually automate it, and it will increase your productivity, increase your efficiency, because it is very important. All of us are looking at the cost as either priority 2, 3, 1. It depends on your strategy and your objective. but you have to take care of this from two perspectives, and actually they are appeared like each one is against the other, which is the cost. So you will use the automation here. You can use the automation to decrease the cost, but also you have to take care about the quality and the output coming from this automation. The second category, which is high stack, can be assessed only, not fully automated. You know that you can do the task either completely manually or completely automated, but in the middle that the generative AI can help you. The generative AI can help you. Sorry, can each one mute himself or herself to not distract the others? Sorry for that. In the high stack, the generative AI can help you partially. We can call it like this because it will automate part of the activities you are doing. So it will help you to decrease the cost, decrease the time, and so on. But sometimes you need the human. We can say that it will be for the final confirmation, for the final check or review. And again, this is because of the sensitivity of the financial services. Very fast image. It is a technical actually. I know most of you are not technical, but just I will shed light about this because all of you, even if you are not technical, you are speaking each day with the technical people. So just you have to consider that there are two models, main models of the generative AI product strategy, either to be we are calling GAS, so generative AI as a service, or generative AI as a component. You know that the X as a service, it is worldwide distributing the model of cost calculation either to host your data center on premises or clouding, so the storage as a service, either to purchase your software or you will just use it whenever you need, so you will pay while you are going. So here, the generative AI as a service, you will contract with technology provider to run the activity or the service you need. But at this time, I think it will be working on the global data, which is not usually is not the case in the financial services, because in the financial services, you are working on a very specific data. If we are a bank, for example, you need the artificial intelligence to run on the data of the bank itself. So you will go with the other strategy, which is generative AI as a component. The technology provider will give you the component or the tool of the generative AI, and you can plug in this component inside your solution. Again, it is a technical, but you have to think about this because it is driven by the data domain or the population of the data you are using here. To not be very boring, we need to come on the ground of the fintech and banking. What are the use cases that the artificial intelligence will help me in? We spoke about the productivity, the efficiency, but this is not the whole story, because also whenever you are working in the fintech era, you have to consider also the innovation, the competition, and several aspects of the fintech that makes you hurry up to inject the artificial intelligence inside your business model or inside your ecosystem to help you to just survive in the very fast changing world. So we will give few examples about how the AI can help you as a fintech or as a bank or any financial institutions working in this domain. The first one actually is related to, again, the productivity, the cost, and the efficiency, which is the customer service. The customer service, I think all of you are either have it at your organization or you are touching this while you are consuming a financial service. So covering this using the artificial intelligence is very important. All or most of the fintech companies right now are using the generative AI and the chatbot model, that you can chat with a chatbot asking some questions, either asking about product. You need to know what is the product specs. You need to ask some questions about how you can purchase this product. You want to know the transaction history of one of the accounts. So you need to have a dialogue with one of the bank or the fintech representative. Here, the customer service can use the AI in a very well performing activity, because using the chatbot in this activity will help you to decrease the time of response. It will reduce the cost of the human which is working to support the customers. And actually, the most important from my point of view is to have a consistent response to the customers. Sometimes when the client contacted the customer service and asking the question to one of the humans representing the customer service or the support, he can receive an answer. And if he try to recall the customer service and another one answered the call, he could provide completely different answer, which is actually, from my point of view, is hitting the repetition of the bank or the fintech company itself. So having something like this will help you usually to improve your service and to shape better image or identity for your organization. Another use case for the generative AI, which is fraud detection and prevention. The fraud is a big story. I know that most of people are giving it high priority in the financial institutions, because it is not just costing us a time or a money, but also it is impacting or maybe damaging the image of the financial institution if there's repetitive fraud cases. So using the fraud detection and prevention is very autonomous job of the artificial intelligence, because there is a trade-off of let's say that the quality or the impact of the fraud detection. Either I will be very conservative and detailed, analyzing each transaction to make sure that there is no fraud in this transaction, which will cost a big time, and sometimes it will result rejection of some valid transactions. But on the other side, if you are not restricting the suspicious transactions, you will be charged for the customer to redeem claim or something like this. But here in the artificial intelligence, it is actually benefiting from the fast analyzing, from analyzing the previous data and understand what are the patterns of the fraud. For example, I was working for one of the banks, and the fraud detection AI system draw a pattern of fraud cases, like the customer suddenly requested to change the password or forget password, and transfer consistent or similar amounts to a new bank account just has been opened in the same day, and then the data is being changed, for example, the mobile number or something like this. So what is this?
Doctor, we have an issue. We're trying to manage it, but it apparently, I think we have some imposters that are joining in. I have stopped the use of these apps, but they seem to be coming back. Could you just
we can stop sharing?
Stop sharing, and then you can share again.
Yes, we can stop sharing, and even I can just speak, because this is something actually didn't happen to me before.
Doki is removed. We have already removed him, whoever or her. I think you can just say stop sharing for now.
Okay.
We have managed most of them, but there's this one who is sharing. Okay, you can go on. I'm going to also stop.
Problem now.
I'm going to stop video as well. So
no worry, no worry at all. I hope just all people are enjoying the session, and if there is any, I see that there is a lot of chats, but actually I didn't read them.
Okay. Whiteboard has been stopped anyway, but I don't know how they. Okay, we have. Wow.
Okay, people are subject to be hacked, to be interrupted from bad guys. But again, I think we can continue if people are interested to continue. What do you think? Let's continue?
Yeah, you can continue.
Sure. Okay. I will read the cases itself, so we can keep the the spirit of knowledge share. We were speaking about the fraud detection actually, and what is happening right now is a good example of how bad people are trying to make bad impact on the activity or the transaction or something like this. So using the artificial intelligence can help us actually with such people. Let's apply it in the current situation that people are trying to just create new email and register. Then they are jumping into a meeting and trying to get the control of the session, then trying to draw something on the screen. This is a pattern. So the artificial intelligence can take this pattern, and once it is started to be happen, it will stop or kick out this bad people. Another use case, which is the credit decisioning. You know that whenever some people are applying for a loan, applying for a credit or something like this, the financial institution, it has to evaluate the case and also to decide if they are going to credit this people or not. And this is what we are calling the credit score. For example, the institution looking into the credit history, looking into the consumption of the utility payments, how many the customer failed to close his credit balance, and so on. So reviewing all this information by a human is just a waste of time, and usually we can find some mistakes actually resulted from the human being, and we are calling it's human mistakes. So whenever we are automating something like this and make the artificial intelligence or the ChatGPT to decide based on the analysis of the data to generate the response that we are accepting your application for this loan or we are rejecting your application for this loan. That's why most of the banks or the financial institutions right now are looking for the artificial intelligence, especially in the first 3 use cases we are just presenting. Let's take another one, which is the investment management.
Dr. Sam, you can share your screen. It's now safe for you to share your screen.
Sure.
Yeah, you can share your screen. It's okay now. Yeah.
Okay. Just a second. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, we can see it. Continue, Doctor.
Okay. If there are any questions, I would like actually to make it the interactive session. So, but I'm not looking at the chat. So if there is any questions, we can take a few minutes even to break the ice and to bypass this that situation. Are there any questions you would like to ask on the previous part we just finished?
Dr. Sam, probably if you could if you can summarize, then we can get into the Q&A.
Okay.
It's just that we were disrupted by these hackers. Otherwise, we should be in the Q&A by now.
Okay. So just a closing statement. We just discussed a few of the use cases. Another use cases, right, the risk management, the compliance, and so on, the pricing and the banking advisory, the product selections. A lot of use cases are on the ground that you can use it while you are using the generative AI. Also, there are some challenges you can face, like the data quality, the cybersecurity, fraud prevention, the regulatory compliance. All of these are some challenges you have to consider. I was planning actually to go through live usage of the generative AI tools such as the ChatGPT and Parad, and also Ping from Microsoft. So I'd like to thank you again, and this is my QR. And if there is any questions, I'm happy to hear from you and answer them.
Thank you, Doctor. I do hope that you will give us some extra time at the end of the meeting, so that maybe you can take us through some of those GPT tools. For now, I would like to request my past president, Jamson, to take us through the Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you very much, AP Edward, for this opportunity in the hope creating time. And thank you very much, Doctor, for this presentation. And I thank all of you who have fought these intruders, especially our Peter Mukuru. I knew when I saw him on team, I knew he would manage. I would like now to invite questions, comments, and any contributions from Rotarians and friends who are on call. We shall use it by raise of hand, and some people can also go straight and ask their questions. We shall ask like 5 questions, Doctor, then you will be given an opportunity to first respond to those. Do we have any comments and questions from members here? Yes, I can see Rotarian Haguma, and then thereafter Rotarian Robert Mawanda.
Thank you so much. The Hope Creator president of this club and the presenter. I'm Rotarian Jimmy Haguma from the Rotary Club of Musasa. Thank you for that presentation. I have just a concern in terms of the use of AI vis-a-vis the ability for us to also appreciate how much we can use our knowledge base in the environment. Does this technology, does this platform depend heavily on how good your data source is, or it is intelligent enough to even reject garbage? In other words, do we have the garbage in, garbage out syndrome, or this time we shall see better and quality information? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Rotarian Robert Mawanda. As I request the president, presiding president, time is up. I don't know how much time you still have for me and the presenter.
I request the Sergeant at Arms to give us 5 to 10 minutes to close the meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Robert Mawanda, please go next. Robert, okay.
Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes, you can be heard very well.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Mine is a quick one. Some universities are discouraging students against the use of AI, and they have even gone ahead to say it's a form of cheating while answering maybe their coursework or some project work. What's your comment on that? Thank you. And thank you, Deborah.
Thank you very much, Edward. We can have PAG James Onyoin.
Thank you very much, my son Jameson. My question to Dr. Hossam is, I was listening to BBC yesterday, and I think the United Nations is trying to see how they can form an organ which will help to mitigate the possible dangers from artificial intelligence. In fact, there is a worry, according to what I heard on TV, that if artificial intelligence goes unregulated, and even it can start controlling nuclear weapons, and it can start, reaching a point where there can be a war, and it will completely be out of control from the human beings. What are your thoughts on this? And will this effort of forming some kind of organization like we have the one on nuclear war be effective? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Onyoin. I have 2 questions from the chat. One is, could the hackers have used AI? That is a question from the chat room. Could the hackers have used AI rather? Then the other one is, thank you for the presentation. Doctor, kindly expound on how generative AI can be utilized in regulatory compliance. Which tools can be used? Next is Dr. Safina Musene. And I think after Dr. Safina.
Are you writing the questions? Because I cannot remember all the questions. I just remember 2 or 3 questions. If you would like me to answer, so someone just to help to repeat the questions at the end.
All right, I think we shall see how to manage that. I was also not writing, but we shall see how to manage that. Let's have the one of Dr. Safina, which you will begin with, and then we shall go backwards.
Thank you very much, the son of James. Mine is, Dr. Osama talked about many jobs being lost due to artificial intelligence, but also many jobs being created. May I request that if we can, I don't know whether you really know. To list those ones that may be created so that we can prepare. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Doctor, you can begin with that one.
Okay, I will go very fast with the few questions I can recall. I'm just starting with the first comment, which is very important based on the role of GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. This is the basic of the quality of the generative AI. Whenever I'm feeding the system with an accurate data, you will reach out an accurate results. The second one, which is, I recall it, related to the BBC speech last day. This is very important, actually. And you, the audience was speaking about the war and the control in the world, like the old films. We must have all saw it before. But actually, yesterday, while I'm preparing to the session, I was thinking about can the AI open an account for this machine and transfer money in a smart way from the customer to this account, then get benefit from it? I don't know if we can reach a day like this or not, but the control is very important worldwide, and even the provider of the generative AI solutions like Musk and others are pushing right now to regulate and control the wave of the generative AI. Another one which is related to the fraud, I think considering the generative AI is a fraud prevention is two sides of the coin. Whenever it is like the virus and the antivirus. The one is creating the antivirus. In some cases, we cannot say that in all cases, it is the one created the virus. But anyway, the logic, the algorithms, the code, the communication between our systems and the others must be reviewed very well by the information security department inside the financial institution. And if the question is, can something like this happen? I think yes. So we have to take care about this. The last question, which is related to the jobs, for sure some jobs are disappeared and others will be appeared. For example, the data scientist, which is working in the data modeling, people working on the data mining, people are putting some like checklist for the products. People are handling the infrastructure for the artificial intelligence. It could be more and more jobs will appear in this. But from my point of view, I think most of the jobs will be very close to the technical era. So if you are not technical, you can consider that you need to be more and more knowledgeable about the technical side. It is not mandatory to be a professional in the technical, but I think in the fintech, especially when we are saying fintech, it is financial technology. So we cannot separate the technology out of the domain itself. But I think handling the people that either use the service or create the service of the generative artificial intelligence will be handled in a different way from the HR perspective, from the hiring, recruitment, retention, and so on. So there is a lot of jobs must be either to be created from scratch or even adapted to be consistent with the new wave of the technology renovation. Is there any questions I missed?
Dr. Sam, yes, PP Jameson, I will request that we wind up the meeting for now.
Yeah, thank you very much, President, and thank you very much, Doctor, for responding to some of those questions that were raised. I think my time, which was given to me, is up. I will now like to hand over back to the presiding president for further management. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank
It's
you.
my pleasure to be
Dr.
here.
Sam, we will
Yes, sir.
still need you at the end of the meeting. Usually we have some extra minutes
Okay.
where you can, pick up a few things that you can share with those that are able to stay on after the meeting.
Okay.
I hope you have a few minutes for us.
Sure.
Great. I call upon, first of all, I would like to thank my fellow IT professionals. I would like to say thank you to CP Mark and Pastor Assistant Governor Peter Mukulu for being on the front line and ensuring that the hackers do not derail our meeting. Thank you very much. I appreciate it so much. With that, I request none other than Rotarian Yerusa to quickly give us a vote of thanks, and then I will call upon Rotarian Ruth for a final toast. We will share the statistics through our various media forum. Over to you, Rotarian Yerusa.
Thank you, my president. Good morning, everyone around. Please join me to thank Dr. Hossam for the wonderful presentation and incitement he has taken us through on artificial intelligence. We have benefited a lot, Doctor, from your presentation, and we stand cautioned about the pros and cons of artificial intelligence. We are very, very glad to be cautioned, for it is believed that forewarned is always forearmed. Thank you so much for forearming us as Rotarians and as people interested in knowing what lies ahead of us. I also extend thanks to everyone who has joined us this morning to this fellowship, for you have made us warm. We have felt your warmth. And thanks to everyone who has worked with the aid of artificial intelligence to bounce off the hackers. Thank you so much, our IT team. And to the Blackberries Buddy Group, thank you so much for leading us. Over to you, President.
Thank you, Rusa, for a befitting vote of thanks. Amazing Ruth, please, the final toast.
Yes, President, fellow Rotarians and everyone on call, straighten up your jacket, and we, after this wonderful and informative talk, we toast to Rotary International.
Rotary the world over.
Over.
Thank you very
much.
Thank
you, President.
Rotary world over.
Thank you.
Rotary
the world over.
Friends, our meeting is over. However, if you want to stay around, you have some burning questions or some issues that need clarification. Dr. Sam, I don't know how many more minutes you can give us for the extra session.
I'm available. We are here today in a public holiday in Egypt, so I cannot leave actually such a great community. Take your time, I'm available actually.
Great. So let's do maybe an extra 15 minutes. Colleagues, friends, Rotarians on call. The floor is yours. PP Jameson, I don't know if you're still with us. I would like to hand over your job.
President, let me congratulate the son of James upon the acting appointment as judge, and let him continue handling artificial intelligence issues.
Looks like he has already run off to act. So I will continue.
Okay.
Let me start off with the hands that have been raised. Rotarian Haguma, your hand is raised. Please submit. And then Lucian Roberts and our own PhD James, your hands are still raised. So we shall have those three. Then we shall give Sound opportunity to
Thank you so much, Hope Creator President. Once again, Rotarian Haguma from the Rotary Club of Sasa. I want to thank the doctor for the presentation.
Thank you.
Maybe because of time, I wanted to really appreciate and understand. I come from the technology side and from analytics, whereas we know that these search engines speak data that is available on their data sources. Does AI provide the capability, again, once again, to sift out or to know that this is garbage? Much as you have punched in garbage, I will not give you back garbage, but I'll give you correct information. Is it intelligent enough? Because we are talking about artificial intelligence in the 5th industrial revolution. Thank you.
President, may I?
Yes, please submit.
Yeah, thank you so much, Doctor. I raised this earlier, but I think maybe you missed it. Some universities are discouraging students against the use of AI. And they are saying
Sorry, the
it's a
voice
form of
is not
cheating.
clear enough.
Doctor, am I clear now?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead,
Yes,
please.
I raised it earlier, but I think you missed it. Some universities are discouraging their students against the use of AI during their coursework and project work. And also, I think it's a form of cheating. What's your comment on that? Thank you.
Doctor, let's get one more question from Dr. James Onyoin, then you can respond.
Sorry, what do you think about writing the question in the chat so we cannot miss that? And also I can understand it very well because the voice wasn't very good. So if the question owner, I appreciate if you can write it in the chat and I'm going to answer all the questions.
All right. The last question, I can repeat it for you. It is to do with some institutions, universities, that are basically disallowing the use of ChatGPT and other generative AIs, and they are considering it as a form of cheating by the students. So he wanted to know what your opinion is on that. Maybe you can respond.
The universities are preventing the students to use it?
Yes, in responding, answering their questions. Maybe you can respond to that, and then we can get some other questions.
Okay, my opinion is something amazing, actually. The worldwide is moving towards the technology, the generative AI, and the others are preventing people to reach out to this. I know that there are bad sides or drawbacks of using the technology in general, not just the generative AI, but this is not the spirit that the universities should spread across the students. They have to learn them how to use it and what are the challenges and how to get benefit from it, not to prevent them to reach out. You know, for example, here in Egypt, that ChatGPT has been blocked from the OpenAI itself across the country in Egypt because they were limiting the access of the APIs. So here, most of people either to purchase a virtual SIM card from USA or any other countries to register and use it. Others are using a proxy to reach out to this. So this is from the side that all people are trying to use it, either the university want this or not. And also the universities here in Egypt are encouraging people to use ChatGPT and the others, because we are just saying ChatGPT, but there is Brad and Bing from Microsoft, and they are doing very well, actually. And again, if we have few minutes, I can show you some in a couple of minutes how this are helping us in the daily life. But again, this is incorrect behavior actually against such actions, because we are limiting the brains, and they will find workaround to use generative artificial intelligence at the end.
Thank you, Doctor. Let me read one. There's a question in the chat. I don't know if you can read it, and then we can receive one more question.
Yes, I can see the question. My inquiry earlier was on how generative AI can be used in regulatory compliance by regulators. What tools can be utilized? Okay, I will not mention tools because we are using tools in Alex Bank, which is my working right now. But how they are using it, the regulator has some sort of access to the data, either on the source itself, or we as a banks, for example, here in Egypt, we are providing monthly reports about our data. So the regulation, for example, I will give a very simple example. The regulator, for example, is putting a limit for the instant payment for 70 Egyptian pounds on a daily basis. So the AI will validate all the data, and if there is any transaction either from this account or another account opened by the same CIF or the ID here in Egypt, so it will analyze the data to check if the financial institutions is following the regulation or not. If there is any workaround has been done to violate the regulation in terms of KYC, for example, the transaction limits on a daily or weekly or monthly basis, the type of transaction itself, even you know that some activities inside the bank, it requires maker and checker. So sometimes the one who made the request go to the other device beside him and make the approval of the activity or the request. AI can analyze the data, analyze for example, the IPs or the network flows from the baker and checker to analyze this data and decide if it was a workaround to comply with the regulator instruction that such a transaction must be done by a maker and checker. So the regulator can use such applications or tools to make sure that the regulations are in the ground.
Thank you, Doctor. Dr. James, your hand is up. Okay, looks like Dr. James's hand just got stuck. Dr. Al-Sam, could you probably take us through?
Hello, I can. No, I was muted, so I couldn't unlock my microphone. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
But again, I wanted to have a couple of minutes to show you how we can get benefit from the generative AI in a very simple form.
Okay.
After Mr. James dropping his question.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Dr. Hossa, my question is just about, I think another big development taking place is the blockchain technology. Yeah. And I wanted to know, how are the two working together, or is there a way generative AI is applicable on blockchain technology? And also, are there any risks that bad guys can also use AI to cause disruptions in that unique identities within the blockchain technology? That's the question.
I have a question. What is your background, Mr. James? Is it a technical or business?
No, I'm business. I'm an accountant, but with a lot of experience in the IT
Yes, you have to take my place, actually. It is very innovative question. I didn't think about this before, but let's brainstorm with the answer. The blockchain is built on the concept of immutable data, that I cannot change the data. So it could be plugged into the artificial intelligence model that the data that I have fed the solution or the system, it will be one time, and I cannot change it to not impact the result of the output of the AI. So it should be taken from 360 perspective, because I'm speaking about the artificial intelligence, which is usually responding to the new data, learning itself based on the data that has been gathered. But on the other side, we are speaking about the blockchain, which is data that has been logged into a system, and I cannot change it. But let's say that one of the business cases of the blockchain is the remittance. I think most of us know about this, that I can use the blockchain as a system for the remittance across borders, which is charging us a lot, because if I'm doing a transaction, for example, from USA to Egypt, I pay $50 with $2K. So it is huge fees. And this is because of the middleman between the bank here in Egypt and the bank in USA. But using the blockchain, it will facilitate and accelerate the transaction. I can plug in another solution from the AI as a fraud detection to control these transactions. So I'm doing a synergy between the two technologies, the blockchain and the artificial intelligence, and to complete the service puzzle, which is the remittance. You can build too many use cases based on that. So the synergy, I think it will be something fantastic, but again, I didn't hear about this before. So you are dropping a new idea for me.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hossam.
You're welcome.
Dr. Hossam, you can now give us some walkthroughs. Over to you.
Okay. I'm just preparing it, and we'll go through it right now. Okay. So we are speaking about the generative AI, and actually, I can feel that a lot of our speech is a little bit theoretical. How we can materialize something like this? Let's see what I'm going to do right now. And again, we are not just speaking about the ChatGPT, we are speaking about the generative AI. So here I'm going to ask for help, 3 tools of the generative AI, and I prepared the question yesterday. This is my question. My salary is $1K. I need to make monthly saving with $200. I'm paying utilities with X. I'm giving my sons $100. I know that it is not enough, but this is just an example, and so on. So I have a problem, financial problem, and I need someone to help me. We are calling this a banking advisory, that a chatbot or artificial intelligence tool is receiving the question and trying to look into different alternatives to help me with the answer. So I'm going to take this question and drop it into 3 artificial intelligence tools. The first objective is to see how this can help me, and the other objective is to compare between the output from different artificial tools And this should be one of the parameters when you are evaluating the artificial intelligence tool. So let's go with the first one, which is Bart from Google. We dropped our question, waiting for the answer. Hope that it can get back to us. Okay, and this is live, actually. I'm connecting and just answering. Sure, here are some tips. The artificial intelligence tool here, it approaches to give me some advices. So it advised me to create a budget and track your spending. I have to plan my budget. It advised me to cook at home because he assumed that I'm paying a lot of purchasing food from outside. Shop around for better deals. So it advised me actually to look for the offers in the saving opportunities and look at the area around my home to get some discounts. Cancel any subscription or membership that you don't use. Actually, this is very important. Usually I'm charged every month for about 50 pounds, Egyptian pounds, in a subscription. I was not in a need for this, so it is a good tips. So this is the approach that the artificial intelligence helped me, but take care that the tool don't know more about myself. But you can assume that if I'm using this tool on my mobile banking application, which is looking at my transaction, how I'm spending here and when, and what about my credit score, and what about my transfer to my family, and so on, it will give me not just the tips, but it will give me a solution. And this is actually the job of the banking advisor. We will take the same question and ask Microsoft Bing. Actually, this is my favorite after trying the several artificial intelligence tools. The statement here, because it is built on statement searching, which is how to save money with low income. And this is part of the intelligence, actually. He interpreted my question like a pain, that I have a pain, which is my salary is not enough to my expenses. So intelligence, it interpreted this to a pain, and he is trying to address my pain. Again, it gives me some different tips. Save any money you can, pay yourself first. So I have to pay my credits, my commitments, and so on. I'm just trying to find something common between the two applications. Automate your saving. Do you know what he means by automate my savings? This is also part of the banking advisories that specifying goal for saving, limit for spending, and the AI will help me to do this. So if I'm spending 80% of my salary in the first week, it will not preventing me, but it will show some alerts that it expected that my salary will be finished within the first 2 weeks. And also cut spendings, look to make more money. So it advised me in this case to work for example, freelancing, extra hours, and so on. Eliminate your debt. And actually, this is a common advice across worldwide, that you have to eliminate your debt. Find free, affordable entertainment, because you are paying in the entertainment. So it advised you that you can look for the free one, not only the expensive entertainment. And this is a different type of the artificial intelligence. So again, you can imagine that you are plugging such tools inside your fintech application or mobile application. And you can imagine the impression of your customer if you are trying to give them some tips like this, even if you are not collecting a lot of data. The last one, which actually it was the first one I started with, and this is connected to ChatGPT actually. I'm dropping the same question. Again, reduce your utility bills, cut back unnecessary expenses, look for ways to increase your income. This is actually a common one, and this is what I was looking for. You will find some common answers from different artificial intelligence tools because they are collecting the data from the internet. So it seems that they are overlapped in one of the sources of this advice that most of the three, actually 2 or 3 of the artificial intelligence tools advised you to increase your income by a way or another. And again, we can take 2 impressions or 3 impressions from this practice. There is common data because they are getting the data from the internet. The level of the let's say the materialization of the data, how it is real data, it depends on the available details that the artificial intelligence is collected from the subject or the customer. So if I'm running this on my banking system, I think the AI will collect a lot of relevant data, so the advice will be much more relevant. The third objective actually of this practice to make you imagine how you can plug in the artificial intelligence tools inside your application and take the edge of advising your customer, because we spoke about the fraud prevention, the risk management, investment, and this is a different story that keep you in touch with the customer. It makes the customer feel that you are speaking with this customer personally. And this is part of the personalization, which is one of the most important benefits from the AI, that it makes the customer feel that there is some sort of personalization. You are speaking with this customer explicitly and personally. You are providing to them what they are need. And this is one of the most important actually parts of the loyalty system that keep the customer feel that you are giving him good attention and care about what he is complaining from. I hope this practice was something practical to give you a highlight about how you can get benefit from the artificial intelligence.
Thank you, Doctor. Definitely, that was very revealing, and indeed, it demonstrated how we can interact with technology to deal with some of our day-to-day challenges. We definitely appreciate your time and effort that went into preparing for this meeting and waking up early. Sorry for that, a time zone mix-up. I thought that Google would translate that into your time, but I think it needs to get a little bit more intelligent than it is right now. It's been long, and colleagues, I used to work with Dr. Osam many years ago in the same company. I was on the telco side. He was more on the banking side of things. So I'm glad to be seeing him after many years. When I left ITS, that was in 2009. That is quite many years ago, over 10 years ago. So thank you very much, Dr. Osam, for coming to talk to us and to talk to Rotary. We are very much pleased. I wish you a happy holiday. I understand you have a holiday today in Cairo. I enjoy your holiday.
Thank you so much, and thank you all for your time. And I hope to see you not just virtually, but physically in the future. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
A nice day to you. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you for all the time.
Mr. President, Presiding President.
Yes,
hello.
Dr. Nyoin.
Yes, I just had one suggestion to Rotary. Given what happened to us today, you remember when there were a lot of hijacks of planes and so on, the airlines had to introduce flight marshals. Tough guys, strong guys who would be in the airline just in case some terrorists, try to divert a plane. So I quickly wrote to PAG Peter Mukuru to be admitted as a co-host so he can be an online marshal. So I think going forward, we may need to have some tough guys on board like Mark Mukuru to defuse any possible attack from bad guys. Thank you.
Indeed, that advice is pretty timely. I still have CP Mark and AG Mukuru on call. You guys, you saved the day and you calmed the nerves. People were able to stay on call confident that this issue will be dealt with, and indeed it was well dealt with. So I appreciate you very much.
I learned from Peter Mukuru. He's the one who taught me. I was in the same situation one time. So, yeah. But
the professor was also on call.
President Edward.
Yes.
Thank you for this very educative session. And thanks to the marshals. I think we'll start calling him Marshal Mukuru, Field Marshal Mukuru.
Yes, and he needs to train an army. He needs to train an army.
I think of marshals.
Yes,
but related to that, could Marshal Mukuru consider maybe we do a session one of these days and dedicate a fellowship on how to make Zoom a more safe environment, so that apart from just Mish and one or two other people who can be able to manage the controls, more of us can get on board. Many clubs just don't have the resources within, the human resource within their club, the capacity, so to say. So maybe if we could have a session one of these days and we get to learn how to manage these issues.
Robert.
PAG Mukuru, I hope you have had that call. I think it is